Hello, everybody. This is my first recording of Title Bout 2 gameplay. It is a fantastic game that I bought on a box as a box game, board game, back in the late 80s, I think it was, or early 90s. Jim Trunzo's game, well, the Trunzo brothers, and it's been converted to Title Bout 2 a few years ago. And I've got the PC version about a year ago, and I've been playing it all through 2020, and I love the game. I'm very aware of Glory Days Boxing, which I also think looks fantastic, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. But I live in the UK, so I don't think it ships here. So I'm going to have to get the PDFs, I think it was. I think I spoke to Anthony. So I'm looking forward to that. That does look good. But anyway, this is the first of many fights I hope to broadcast. Jim is coming out with different sets. I think he's down to shortly releasing the bantamweights. Then he'll do, I think, fly, then cruiser, then all the other weights. But I can't wait. So what I tend to do, I tend to homebrew the sets I haven't got. However, I do have heavyweight. I do have all the sets really, right down to current sets that he's got out. So I've got heavyweight, I've got the light heavyweight set, the middleweight set, the welterweight set, the lightweight set, the featherweight set. But as you can see, I've entered in some of my own sets, which is not too difficult from a editing point of view, as in to edit, to put the sets in. Some of them are already there, I think. But I've already started to, for example, create my own homebrews. So, like the junior middleweights, one of my favorite boxers of all time is Mike Mccallum. If I click on him, there's nothing there. It's already got his picture because I think he's a middleweight from the original sets from Jim. But I've created my own. And what I've done, I've used the original Title Bout ratings, which I assume were done by Jim, back in the day, on the first computerized version. First or second. I know there was another Title Bout Championship boxing game, which I think is based on Jim's original game anyway. And rating the boxers, I think can only be subjective. I think there's formulas they use. I think I've worked some of them out. So I was able to create on the junior middleweight 2 boxes. And what I've done is I've really looked at the ratings. Like I like Corey Spinks. I haven't got anything in for him at the moment. Willie Pastrana was a very good light middleweight. So I've looked at Boxing Rec. I've looked at some of the boxers that were listed in the Title Bout Championship Boxing, and my own knowledge, of course. So I should have most of them there. Like Saul Alvarez Canelo, eventually I'll do him. But at the moment, I have put in a Japanese fighter called Koichi Wajima, I think his name is. There he is. A decent boxer. Junior middleweight, I've given him a 10 because he was similarly rated in the Title Bout Championship Boxing. Purely homebrew, I must say. Very aggressive fighter, killer instinct. I've given him an 8. I think his knockdown might be just a touch too high because he got knocked down quite a bit in the last fight I did with him. He did get knocked down a few times, but never knocked out maybe once. I think he deserves a 2-1. And what I do is I play around with it just a little bit until I get it what I feel is right. I base the ratings on a little table that I've made because you can kind of see how Jim does his ratings eventually. There is a pattern to it. So it's not hard to work it out, but I won't give it away. What I see. Or what I think I see. But as you can see, it's got all the heavyweights in there. This is Jim's boxes. I think I might only have one in there that I've put in. I think I tried to put in... I don't think I put any in here, actually. I think there's an Evander Holyfield in here twice, because I think I was trying to do the cruises at the time. Nope. One Evander. But most good boxers are going to have a 34 to 36. I'll talk about legendary boxers. A 34 to 36 punches landed. That's something that I have noticed. If you take George Foreman, who missed a lot of punches, because he's a big slugger, to be fair, 30. But if you take a Muhammad Ali, I'll be surprised if he's not a 36. If we have a look up here, Muhammad Ahmad Ali, 34, not the most accurate, but then heavyweights he's probably the most accurate heavyweight. Tyson Fury is in here. I think Jim did release a Tyson Fury. I'll be curious to see what he is. 32. Golota, 30. So you can start benchmarking. Lennox Lewis, again, probably one of my favorite, most underrated boxers of all time. I think there's a great case for Lennox being the greatest of all time. He's a 32. So just behind Ali, I think it was. Sonny Liston's got to be about a 32. Yeah. I can almost guess them. Joe Lewis at 34. 36, okay. Ron Lyle, 30. There you go. Rocky Marciano, 32, probably. No, 30, a big slugger. Missed a few. Threw a lot of punches. Let me see. Mike Tyson would probably be a 32 or 34. Mike Tyson. Where are you, Mike? I'm over here. Here we are. 34 is pretty accurate. So, some of this stuff you can work out for yourself, or use a table and work it out. Tim Witherspoon, I'd imagine, was a fairly accurate boxer. From my limited knowledge, I haven't got knowledge obviously not like Jim Trunzo, but I'd say a 34. Let's have a good 30. Okay, but that was down to ranking. And again, I don't know much about Tim Witherspoon other than he beat Frank Bruno back in the 80s and was seen as a good boxer. Decent jab. And you can see here, 1 to 20 is a jab. About a quarter of his jab is a power punch. 21 to 35, that's 14, that's 15. A third of his hooks are power hooks. 36 to 52. I'm doing this maths really quickly, so I could be wrong here. That's what, 20, 16, and it's 4, 6. Yeah, so he's got a good right hand, powerful right hand, because it's got quite a lot of power in it, as you can see there. 53 to 50, that's 13. Again, a third of it is power. His combinations are power combinations. And then there's, so it's like, you can work it a quarter, a third, a quarter. So a quarter of the punches generally will probably be power punches for a boxer, slugger. There we are. Yeah, and a boxer's probably going to be about a quarter. Frank Bruno's going to be a little higher because of his power, but let's have a quick look. 8, 32, 47, 15, that's 16, 8 from 68. 8 out of 16 range. Half of his power is in his right hand. So half of his right hand, half of his cross, which is his right hand, will be a power punch. So Frank's quite good if he hits you with a cross. Power punching here, for example, 13, 7. Again, 50% of his combinations are power. Frank's got a bit of power, allegedly. Let's have a look at what he's been given. HP, 6. I disagree, but then Frank, I suppose it's down to who he fought as well, because Frank was well managed and had a lot of tomato cans on his record. So he didn't knock out Lennox Lewis. He didn't knock out Mike Tyson. He rocked Mike Tyson, and he definitely rocked Lennox Lewis. I think his greatest fight actually was against Lennox Lewis, personally. And I like Frank Bruno. I met him once in a barbershop. There's good old Del Boy, Derek Chisora. I just love Derek. I think there's not a fan in Britain who doesn't love Derek Chisora. A real hard-working Joe Fraser, like a poor man's Joe Fraser, if he doesn't mind me saying so. He's the kind of boxer you go up against, if you're coming up the ranks to get to top class now, bless him. But he's still fantastic. I think Dylan White is in here too. I didn't create these people. These were all done by Jim Trunzo. Dylan White, he's got a lot of talk. One of the current wave of British heavyweights that's rocking the scene at the moment. Decent fighter. And there's some fighters from my youth. Now, I think Alexander Usyk is me. I did that. So, you can pick it apart if you want. This is probably my rating of him. Like I said, I'd be quite happy for people to put in what they think. And it's only until Jim eventually gets round to it. But it's taken over 2 years to get to this point. I can't wait any longer. I'm like, Jim, just show us how to make the boxes and we're good. And he said he would. And he said it to all the community. So I'm looking forward to that eventually when that actually happens, you know. So who else have we got here? We've got Corey Sanders and the heavyweights that speak for themselves. Light heavyweights, we've got Dennis Andrews. I do remember him. Was always falling down, old Dennis. He's got a 3 knockdown there. Decent counter punch. When his punches miss, he leaves himself open to being counter punched from 45, 46, 47, 48. So if he dice rolls on a punch is missed, there's a chance he gets hit. That's how it works. Let's have a look and see who else we've got here. I love boxing. This is me trying to create Carlos Gomez, but that needs to be removed. I don't seem to be able to remove this. Let's try and see if it does it. It doesn't stay removed for whatever reason. Now, see? It's still there. I think I have to do it from the sort of database that's within the game. George Carpentier, a man from the 1920s, a very good boxer. Ezra Charles, we know, is a heavyweight as well as a light heavyweight on the greatest. Again, a 12, I think it's the highest it goes here. In Jim's original game, I think it went up to 15, if I'm correct. Let's just have a look and the butcher's hook. At the moment, I think I am definitely recording. Just getting back to my screen. Billy Conn, John Conte. When I was growing up as a kid, John Conte was a British superstar. A bit of a ladies' man, handsome guy. I think he's still alive, I think so. I hope so. He was very popular back in the day. He's like the British Muhammad Ali at the time, good-looking guy. And he was a world-class talent, there's no question. He gets a 10. Again, these are not my guys. These are definitely Jim's guys. Chad Dawson, don't know too much about him. Didn't he beat Roy Jones? Not sure. The other people here whose names I recognise from the 50s, maybe early days. Chris Finnegan, I'm sure he was an Olympic champion for Britain. Certainly was a well-known amateur anyway, for sure. I'm sure he won a title at Olympic level. I'll have to check that, but not a very good punching landed there, to be honest, with old Chris. That's quite low. Let's compare him to some other people of that era. John Conte is a 1-34, very much a boxer. Carpentier was another boxer, I'm sure. 32. So why is Chris Finnegan so low? Bob Fitzsimmons, the original. Ruby, 1-30. Okay. Let's have a look. Victor Galindez, I think, was killed, wasn't he? In a car crash or something like that. But he was, again, another one of, who's it? El Leopardo de Moron. I'm not sure what that means, but I know what L means there, and I'm sure Moron means moron. But Leopardo, so leopard of Moron? Or maybe Moron's a place, leopard of a certain place. 34, Victor Galindez, again, good hitting power. It's open to the counter punch just a slight bit. It's like 3, 46, 47, 48, 49, 4. If you look at someone you can compare him to, say, for example, Montel Griffin. Montel Griffin leaves himself open, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 5. So that reflects on his defense, which is not bad. Go back to Galindez. Galindez, it's quite interesting how that all works there, Jim. Anyway, Jeff Harding, Virgil Hill, slick boxer, had a classic fight against Thomas Hearns, 34. So again, you get the picture. There's my cruiserweight Evander that I made. Not sure he's very good. Bernard, the Executioner Hopkins, cagey fighter. Let's see how he's reflected in caginess. He's got a 7 and a 7. Good endurance, means he'll last. Dirty. Good defense. Gets knocked down. Doesn't get knocked out. Doesn't cut. Counter punches quite well. So you can see the kind of Fowler. He is stealth, Fowler, intellect. There you are. Says it all. I believe these have certain effects on the game I don't know too much about. Not very accurate, not a very big hitter. However, when punches missed, doesn't leave himself open to the counter punch, as you can see here. He's 45, 46, 47, so there's only 3 chances of him on a punches missed of getting counter punched. That shows a lot of intellect. He will clinch you in comparison to, say, Roy Jones. Let's have a look at Roy Jones. Probably the best of all the light heavyweights. A great super middleweight as well. My favourite division, by the way. Plays to the crowd. Let's have a look at Roy. Control factor 10. Not overly aggressive. Will kill you if he gets a chance. He can play dirty if he needs to. Good defense, but not the best. I think Hopkins might have a better one. No. Or Hill. No, they're all the same level. Roy Jones Jr. Clinches, I call that a 9. 52 to 60 is 9. Compared to, say, someone like Bernard Hopkins, who's way above that. So you can kind of get a feel for the boxers. If I go back to Roy Jones Jr., my alphabet has gone weird for a second here. Roy Jones Jr., there we go. He's got a ring movement of 61 to 80 compared to someone like Bernard Hopkins, 65. So you can you build your own tables up. You can start to work out who's where if you have a knowledge of the boxer. There was that boxer from Jamaica called Glenn. He was a real cagey boxer. He went on for ages. It's kind of like Dennis Andrews, but he's not. I'll find him. Compentier, Conte, Cueto, Davis, Duval, Debris, Fitzgibbon, Foster. Bob Foster, heavy-handed. Let's have a look at his punching power. 12, yeah, look, gee. You don't want to get caught by old Bob. I might even start him on a fight right now, actually. See how he gets on. Going down a list still of great light heavies. There's a British one, Clinton Woods. Again, I don't know if that's me that put that in there or not. I think that's Jim's. Jose Torres, yep. Dick Tiger. Antonio Tawa, 32. Again, doesn't leave himself too open to the counter. He's a good counter himself. So you start to get a feel of the boxer. I really love this game. Good ring movement or decent ring movement. About the same as Hopkins, really. Adonis Stevenson, isn't he a... I didn't think he was in the game, actually. I know I didn't make him. Or did I watch someone make him online and do it? But there he is anyway. Michael Spinks, another great 11 out of 11 controls. So he will control, good accuracy. Not the best aggression, but, good aggression. Killer instinct 6. Clean boxer. Gets a knockdown every now and again and can get knocked out. But, that's the Mike Tyson one, I think. Good defense. Fights inside, outside, can cover up and go for the knockout. Let's have a look at his counter-punching. 8. Yes, he was a counter-puncher with that Spinks jinx. Then he got the decent jab. But let's have a look at his cross. That's 13, 14, 15. So 15 as an overall. And about a third of that is power. Combinations... pretty good. Again, you get a feel for the boxers. I missed here now. Barry Sutherland is here. I'm sure he was a super middleweight, one of the earliest super middleweight champions. Dwight Muhammad Quali, the Camden Buzzsaw. Better as a cruiser. Still 32. I'm sure he was a heavyweight as well. I think sadly passed away not that long ago, I think. Willie Pastrana, I know the name pretty well. Don't know much about the boxer. Have a look at him, though. 10, so he's world-class in that area. Not the most aggressive. Definitely not killer instinct man. Clean fighter. Good defense. Can get knocked down and get in trouble. Counter-puncher. Does not allow himself to get hit that often. That's reflected in his defense there. Clinch. Doesn't clinch that often. excellent ring movement. So this is a proper boxer here, Willie Pastrana, just by looking at his stats. Look at it, not the biggest, 22 jab. So I'll keep looking at this. I do enjoy this. Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, one of the two Muhammads I used to like in the 80s. Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, decent, light heavy. I think it was early 80s, 32. Does he leave himself up to the counter? Not much. Then you got Matthew Starr Muhammad, who I'm sure is called something else. Is it called Matthew Franklin? And so was Eddie, was called Eddie Gregory. That's it. Matthew Sard Muhammad. Okay, a name I remember as a kid growing up. Knockout puncher, if I remember. So he can go the distance. He's got 10. I mean, look at that. He will go for you. He will come after you. There's no question. In fact, I'm going to set a fight up with him right now. 11 power. Leave himself up to the counter a little bit. Ring movement, not the best as everyone else's, but clearly he will come after you. So he's going to fight inside a bit. Not that much. Michael Mora, another great, probably well known for being heavyweight champion as well. Beaten by George Foreman. Good chin. Will not get KO'd. 32, good hitting power. Not the best defense. He's not bad. Archie Moore, the old mongoose. Again, another great, probably one of the greatest of all time, light heavyweights. 36. I mean, that's as high as you're going to get, boxing accuracy-wise. He doesn't leave himself up to the counter. He's an excellent counter himself. Good ring movement. This is all cosmetic to some of it's cosmetic. I'd have to work out. I wish they just did it in numbers rather than ranges. It'd be much easier to work it out. Freddie Mills, I'm sure, was a good boxer in his day. Darius Michalczewski. Again, a boxer that I know a little about. I know his name. Again, good control there. Keep going up the list. John Henry Lewis, Joey Maxim, Sam Langford. Don't know much about him. I just know he's a name. I think that's... Oh, there he is. Knew I'd find him eventually. Now, both of these are both Jamaican, I'm sure. Bunny does sound like a Jamaican name to me, but I'm being Jamaican stock. I'm sure Glenn Johnson was one of the toughest fighters to break down. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, good control, good aggression, good killer instinct. Will not get knocked down often. Does counterpunch, decent against the counterpunch, decent defense. Probably not the most exciting fighter that I can remember, but a boxer that you just did not want to run against. If I was fighting, you want to avoid him at all costs. Right, that's that. Just a quick look at the middleweight before I go into a fight. Canelo is there. I think he was done as a late addition. Not sure how accurate he is somewhere. I'm sure Jim put him up after the game came out. Iron the Blade Barkley beat Tommy Hearns in his day. Good hitting power there. Not the best defense there. Carlo Basilio, George Benton, Nino Benvenuti, Bad Benny Briscoe. You don't want to run into Bad Benny on a good bad night. He will take you out. Charlie Burley, I don't know much about Charlie Burley. I just know he's a good fighter. For some reason, I didn't do much homework on him over the years, but obviously a great fighter. -4. Rubin the Hurricane Carter. Marcel Cerdan, another great. He was killed sadly in a plane crash, I believe it was. He went up against Sugar Ray Robinson a few times, or one time, or Jake LaMotta. This is just my own limited knowledge. Terry Downs, good British fighter. Roberto Duran, Hands of Stone. Just a legend. I don't need to really say much about him. That's as a middleweight, mind you. Frank the Animal Fletcher, a man from the 80s. The Animal. Oh, great name. He's there as fodder, it looks like. He's only rated a 5. But he's a southpaw, so, caused some problems. 28. So you get the idea. Gennady Golovkin, Triple G. Again, a late addition. No. Why is he not coming up with a picture? I don't know. I don't think this is actually Triple G. He was made, so maybe I had to input him, but he was a gym creation. I probably didn't input him correctly because he doesn't show up here. Rocky Graziano, very exciting fighter that will get knocked down but get up. Can get knocked out though, but his aggression. Can you imagine him against Matthew Saad Muhammad or someone like that? Bernard Hopkins, we know, is a legend in his own right. Thomas Hearns, the hitman, exciting fighter, greatest fighter of all time, probably not, would you not say? Against Marvin Hagler. Sambu Mccallum, Jake LaMotta, Sugar Ray. I think I've gone past Hagler somewhere. Marvelous Marvin Hagler, great fighter. I never really liked him much. Hearns was my man, but as years have gone by, you have to respect his work at the end of the day. Harry Greb, Emma Griffith, Rocky Graziano, like I said. There's just names everywhere, to be honest. How would you do a tournament with these guys? Sambu Mccallum, Jake LaMotta, Ray Leonard, Sergio Martinez, Maravilla. Mike Mccallum, who is very underrated in my opinion. I think Mike Mccallum could pretty much take out everyone in his day. He was just so good. I just don't see it on this card at the moment. But his aggression's a 10, so that would give him some... And look how tough he is. That's tough. Then you got this sad case of Gerald Mclennan. Now, Nigel Benn's not in here, so he will be in the middleweight. Sorry, super middles. I think Ben does deserve to be a middleweight in here. I think eventually people will start to homebrew a lot of these boxers who are missing. They were in the original Title Bout Championship Boxing 2 database, because I've seen Nigel Benn. In fact, there's so many boxers in this, unreal. So try and convert. Alan Minter, overrated. Carlos Monzon, one of the greatest of all time. Michael second to none, just come out of prison. A good second super middleweight as well as middleweight. Fast, let's have a look at him. Yeah, 7 aggression, which seems to be the standard. 8 kill instinct. Defense -4, will get knocked down, but not necessarily knocked out. Well, he can get knocked out, actually. Hitting power, good 8, but good accuracy. So he's up there. Chong Pao Park, I'm sure, is a super middleweight as well, which I've put in. So that's probably why I've put super middle. That's me. Kelly Pavlik, good boxer. Sugar Ray. Juan Roldan from Argentina. Beaten famously by Hagler, another one Simpson. Don't know why I've got 2 Frank Tates there. One must be a super middle that I put in, yep. Anyway, you get the idea. At welters, just quickly now, because I'm dying to do a fight. Henry Armstrong, one of the greatest of all time. He should be in the middleweights. I'm sure he... Didn't he hold titles at feather, light, and welter? And then fought for the middleweight and lost it, and he should have won it as well. But maybe he didn't. He only had the one fight up there. Mark Breland, I always remember him starring in a film. Wilfred Benitez, great fighter, better as a junior welter. Henry Armstrong, and so on and so forth. Lightweights, like I said, everybody's here. All the main ones are there. Feathers are just... I think the featherweights are probably the most exciting of the lot. I've played with Naseem Hamed already because I had to. He's one of my favourite fighters. Just from an entertainment point of view, you know. I don't know if they've rated him right here for the 30, but he did swing a lot and miss a lot. So, but look at that. Aggression 10, kill instinct 10. Will get knocked down, but not knocked out necessarily. He'll get back up, he will. He's, you know, I like Naseem. I like Amir Khan, another British fighter. Kevin Kelly, Naseem Hamed fight was probably the best I've seen. Anyway, I digress. So I'm going to do a fight after this. So I'll stop it now, for now. That's my introduction to Title Bout 2.